Good morning, everyone. Hi, Helen. You are my early bird. Good luck in court next week. I'm not sure where you're at. I hope you are a member of one of our state chapters. Good morning, Jenny. For those of you who are not members of one of the One Mom's Battle chapters, make sure you go to ombchapters.com and sign up. There is, some of those chapters are super active and supportive, and the others, we need to get them moving in that direction. Hi, Jen. Good morning. One of my wonderful coach graduates. This is Coffee with Tina. I am Tina Swithin, author of Divorcing a Narcissist, founder of One Mom's Battle, and I'm not an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice. We're very much a group of people who come together and talk about all things divorcing a narcissist and child custody with a narcissist. Gigi, I have to give her a shout out this morning. Maryland, holy heck, you guys are, hey, good morning, Renee. Renee is one of my coach program instructors, and we're so happy to have her in the program. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Family Court Awareness Month is, oh no, you can't see me. Can anyone else see me? I will wait to hear if anyone else can see me, if it's just a glitch for Gigi. Family Court Awareness Month is in November, and we are busy. Jenny says she can see me, so I'm going to keep going. Maybe log off, Gigi, and then come back on. FamilyCourtAwarenessMonth.com, or you can go to the One Mom's Battle website, click blog, and scroll down a few. Pull up the template. We are talking about proclamations and getting your mayor or your county to declare November as Family Court Awareness Month. Your name does not have to be involved at all publicly to do this. Gigi in Maryland has been spearheading. Every time I open up my email, I'm like, there's 20 more emails from Gigi, and I love it. And some of these mayors, she has secured 14 proclamations from the state of Maryland, all over different cities, counties, and basically saying, we declare that November, the entire month, is Family Court Awareness Month. And a lot of the times, these they don't expire. So this is every single year. And so much of this is just putting it on the map that we have a problem. Because if you're anything like me, before I got into this crazy system 12 years ago, I just thought, oh, they protect kids. Of course, that's a no-brainer. Child safety, why wouldn't they protect kids? They don't. It's a really messed up system. And so we need to start talking about this. And this is one of the first steps to putting these issues on the map. And it is so simple. We have created the template for you. Again, go to the One Mom's Battle website, click blog, scroll down, I think 3 or 4 to November's Family Court Awareness Month. All you have to do, cut and paste that template. You can also go onto our website and see which states or which counties or which cities have declared that we are honoring, we have set aside November to celebrate this. I encourage you, if you are in one of these cities that has taken this step and issued a proclamation, plant a tree. Do something. You can do something outdoors to celebrate and to memorialize this huge endeavor that we're taking on. And, I think we're up to almost 50 proclamations. We don't even have them all uploaded on the site. So before we can that's what Gigi is saying, awareness is necessary before education. And, those are the first steps towards change. But there are so many people doing such amazing work. Last night, for those of you who attended the live panel, that has been organized and spearheaded by Danielle Pollock and Joan Meyer from the National Family Violence Law Center and the Center for Judicial Excellence, Kathleen Russell, doing amazing work. They secured the entire series of the Allen versus Farrow. For those of you who are survivors and don't have HBO and can't afford to watch that series, and then they've put together live panels. It was so, powerful last night. And this is, we are moving in the right direction. We truly are. The powerhouses that are coming together and working to protect kids, Caden's Law, Kira's Law, all of these, the coercive control laws that are popping up. Elisa said she couldn't access the panel, but she watched the episode. Go to Jane Doe Films on Facebook, and the panel will stay on there forever, I believe. But Lundy was on there last night, and it was so powerful. And there's my sister. Thank you, Renee. Today's my birthday. Today's my 47th birthday. So I'm really happy to spend it with all of you, and try to get a proclamation today and go to Jane Doe Films and like their page. The work they are doing over there is phenomenal. But all of these top hitter advocates coming together. Yes, panels on Jane Doe Films page. Fantastic. So powerful. Go watch that. Thank you. Yeah, the HBO app is free. Oh, I didn't know that. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. I am going to jump right into the questions. And this is another one. If everybody has collective wisdom input on any of these questions, leave it in the comment section, because something that works for me, or advice I have, or thoughts I have, somebody else may have completely different ones. And together there's so much wisdom within these groups. And Autumn, the first episode of Allen versus Farrow made me shudder. That has probably been one of the most triggering documentaries I've ever watched. I sobbed, ugly cried through the entire 4th episode. And a lot of it, it's just because it's validation. It shows how long this issue has been going on. For those who deal with the sexual abuse aspect of family court, it shows what a problem this is, and that it's not just you, and one of the things I recently said and shared, if somebody would have called the police during their marriage and a child had disclosed that dad is molesting them, the guy would leave the house in handcuffs. You call that in as you are under the umbrella of the family court system, and you could lose your kids. This is the number of children that we know, factual data, solid research, that are being molested, and the percentages on that does not, you look at the stats and the rates for when family court actually finds something as credible, or that they actually believe the allegations, does not line up. One's up here and one's down here. It's just common sense. And so another reason why I'm so hopeful that people are starting to talk about this in such a big way, and we have the attention of the media, and that's huge. That's half the battle right there. So again, another plug, work on those proclamations. And then we have a press release you can send out for the proclamations to your local media. And again, your name doesn't even have to be on it. So, okay. Questions. What did you do about panic attacks, and how did you deal with breakdowns? I'm so tired. There have been points in my battle. Well, first of all, therapy has been, for me, critical. I don't know how I would have survived all of this without, and I've changed therapists multiple times, and you get to a juncture where maybe somebody, you've done your time and you need, to escalate to the next therapist because they have a better skill set or more trauma informed based on what you're dealing with in that moment. So, I'm whatever works for you, but for me it's been therapy, it's been EMDR. But in those moments, I mean, there have been times I've had to go on medication, and there is no shame in that. I'm somebody who I have chronic pain, and I don't even like to take Advil. I really don't like to be on medication, but there have been times where I've had to go on antidepressants or Xanax or whatever it is, and it is what it is. It's what I needed in that moment or at that period of time, and it doesn't have to be forever, and I'm not pushing that on anyone, but for me, that became part of my toolbox. And there's just this stigma surrounding that. That's really unfortunate. Also, the Calm app, it's a meditation app, but they have an emergency meditation. And there have been times where I'm sitting in my car before court and I've had to do like an emergency meditation for 3 minutes. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting in this beautiful room surrounded by fluffy pillows with, the perfect lighting and all of that. I've done meditation in my car in the parking lot of the courthouse multiple times. And so, whatever it is for you, but what I have found is that if you described it as a breakdown, I let myself have them. Maybe I can't have it right now in this moment, but I will schedule downtime, and I will, or, sometimes you can't schedule it. It's just going to happen, and that's okay. And you give yourself grace in those moments, because if you did not feel this way, if you were not struggling, I'd want to check your pulse, because, some of the strongest people I know get completely annihilated by this system. And so a lot of grace and self-compassion, giving yourself compassion, the same compassion that you would give to somebody else. We dish it out, dole it out day in and day out to other people, but sometimes we're the ones that need it the most. And so for me, if I were going to have a pity party or whatever, I just set an end time. I can set aside a day and say, you know what? You have a right to be angry and pissed off and frustrated with the system and, feel completely defeated. But tomorrow is a new day, and we're going to get up and we're going to dust ourselves off and we're going to try again. But the more I found for me that I push those things down and try to avoid them, it builds. I think of it like a pressure cooker. Eventually it's going to come out, and I'd rather deal with it in little bursts along the way than really have it, derail me big time. And I've been there too. I've shared openly in 2016, after my ex-brother-in-law was arrested, I spent 3 or 4 months on my couch in fetal position, heavily medicated. And it's okay. I'm human. And it was, thankfully my kids were in school during most of that time. And I have a wonderful husband who helped, and I'm incredibly grateful. There are some wonderful comments going on over here. Restorative yoga, Asanon, Partners of Sex and Porn Addicts group has been really helpful. Self-care, naps, saying no. Gosh, saying no. That is so powerful. Jen says, I spent one day this week feeling mad, sad, etc. I took a long nap. You have to, whatever reset is for you. For me, it may be driving to the beach and just sitting there. I'm 15 minutes away from the beach. I have that luxury to be able to just go sit and breathe and ground myself in the sand. And, so grace and compassion, though, becomes the foundation of all of that. So thank you for sharing, because this is an important topic that doesn't get brought up enough. And, I struggle because so many people put me on this pedestal as, she conquered the court system, she protected her kids, all of that. I have been in S show on many occasions. There have been times where I walk into the courtroom and I cannot even formulate a sentence due to PTSD or anxiety. We're all human. And yeah, so mountains in Western Maryland. I'm ready to move to Maryland after all these proclamations are coming in from over there. I'm like, is this for real? These people are really embracing this. Number 2, do I need to educate my attorney? Will post-separation abuse ever end? Ideally, your attorney has some understanding or some knowledge of domestic violence at a minimum. There are some people in smaller areas where you don't have a lot of options when it comes to attorneys. And so, it's incredibly important for attorneys to get it at some level, but then there's also the reality. And a lot of the work I do with my coaching clients is helping them to manage their expectations appropriately. Because there are some people who are just so new and naive to the system that they expect their attorney to rush the courtroom and point fingers and say, this guy's a bad guy or woman. We can never have him around the kids or her around the kids. We want permanent supervised visits, and there's no basis for that. In the eyes of the court, there is, I don't believe that a narcissist, an abuser, whatever you want to label it with, whoever you're dealing with, I don't believe a toxic person has any place in a child's life, period. I don't believe a child needs 2 parents to be a healthy, happy, well-rounded individual. Unfortunately, the court system doesn't agree with us on that. And a parent with a pulse gets 5 gold stars. And so as long as your expectations and as long as you're managing those properly and you have at least a 101 understanding of the system and your expectations are in alignment with reality, there are things where your attorney's hands are truly tied. But should your attorney have a basic understanding? Absolutely. You can print out the post-separation abuse wheel and drop it off with your attorney. Bring it into your next meeting and say, I would love for you to spend 5 minutes looking at this. And if you don't know what the post-separation abuse wheel is, it's postseparationabuse.com. You can download a PDF, but give it to your attorney and say, you know what? I know there's not a lot you can do with this, but at a minimum, I need to feel like you understand what I'm going through and that it does not take 2 people to create a high conflict situation. And I need you to be my voice and my advocate. And this wheel feels like the playbook that my ex is utilizing to terrorize me. So just awareness so that you and I are both on the same page. Maybe nothing can be done in the court right now, but I just need to know, because here's the thing. The most frustration I hear from clients is when their attorneys are not validating them. And again, that's a fine line there because they're not your therapist. And, so many people think that their attorney, use their attorney in the capacity that they should be using their therapist. And that's a really quick way to burn your attorney out and to make them shut down, because a lot of attorneys are highly narcissistic themselves. And so emotions, they make them uncomfortable. At a minimum, your attorney needs to meet you and validate you that, yeah, this sounds just like what you're going through. But be careful about not leaning on your attorney. Here's another plug for divorce coaches. Divorce coaches can be, they can't give you therapy. They can't give you legal advice, but it's that in between where they can be your strategy partner and they can help you to to know, or just brainstorm, check in and go, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Maybe we need to consult with another attorney, whatever it is. And your divorce coach can fill that role that so many people are placing on their attorneys. And, even if an attorney does have empathy, they're actually trained to shut off that empathy switch. They have to see these as case numbers and as business transactions, or they're going to burn out. That's the reality, and it's harsh. And it's radical acceptance. It's a tough system, and they truly do. To be able to do this work, they really do. Most of them have to look at these, in their mind as case numbers, because if they personalize and internalize all of this, they're gonna, I see attorneys get completely, destroyed by this system and the emotional toll it can take on you. And so I see it through many different lenses, and a divorce coach can help you do that also. If you are in need of a divorce coach, go to myhighconflictdivorcecoach.com. Those are all the amazing individuals that I have trained, but not only have I trained and certified, that I actually endorse. There's a difference. Our certification program, you can go through and check all the boxes and do the work and receive your certification. But I would not put someone in our divorce coach database unless I would personally feel comfortable pairing them with someone that I know and love. And a lot of my clients, where their cases are super complex, or, they need more immediate help than I can offer sometimes because my calendar books out, some of my clients go to my divorce coaches for help. And so I really encourage you to align with one of them. And it can be a game changer. And I have people all the time say, working with you as a divorce coach has saved me, $50,000 that I would have spent, because we're holding all different kinds of lenses and helping people to see things through different angles that wouldn't come naturally to you if you've never been a part of this system. So let's see. In the room, how do people... I missed the first part of that. Is it good to make the children aware of the narcissistic parent, or is it best to stay silent? That's a tough question. You don't ever want to say negative things about the other parent. My kids, you can ask them about different chapters through our own journey, and what they will say is that Dad spoke poorly of Mom all the time. Mom has never said a negative word about him. He's no longer Dad. What if you were never married? It doesn't matter. That's a question, Karen, about divorce coaching, I assume. I wish there was a different title for it, because I know a lot of people feel that way. What if I was never married? It doesn't matter. Child custody with a toxic person in general, paternity cases, whatever it is, they can help you. So definitely reach out to one of the coaches who is both certified and endorsed from our program. I am a firm believer when it comes to educating children. You can educate them without ever making it about the other parent. I have worked really hard to educate my kids on what toxic is, what unhealthy behaviors are, but I've been very careful never to point the finger at their dad or at anyone in our lives. Autumn, I was just awarded everything I wanted last week. Can we just have a round of applause for Autumn, because that's fantastic. I love hearing those stories. There are success stories in the court. Back to the question though, the bucket book, Have You Filled Your Bucket Today, from Carol McLeod. That's a great starter book for younger kids. The concept is there are some people in life who are bucket fillers, who fill your bucket with positives and love and all of those warm fuzzies. And then there are people in life who are bucket dippers, who lie and cheat and steal and they're mean. And when your child says, Mom, Dad's a bucket dipper, or Mom's a bucket dipper, whatever it is, those are the moments where you kind of go, that's interesting that you say that. You know, do you want to talk about it? Why do you think that? You can keep yourself out of the equation and let your child connect the dots. I am a firm believer in teaching our kids about intuition, about listening to that inner voice, the all-knowing inner voice. It's never wrong. I've learned those lessons recently again. Boundaries. We have mental boundaries, we have physical boundaries, we have emotional boundaries. Really giving them words to describe all of these things. And so if they come home from school and somebody did X, Y, and Z, you can say, gosh, to me, that sounds like that's somebody who crossed your boundary. You had said, don't do that. And then this happened. You know, do you see it that way? Or, you know, did that feel like somebody was crossing your boundaries or not listening to your voice? And so really giving our kids the tools, the language to understand toxic people and behaviors without ever saying anything negative. And I'm going to share a story from one of my clients, and she has teenage daughters, and they're experiencing constant gaslighting from dad. And so what she did when her daughter is in the shower, because we know our phone listens to everything, what is gaslighting? Siri, what is gaslighting? And on and on and on. Oh, shoot, Siri's really going to answer me. Her daughter came to her a couple of weeks later and said, Mom, I just saw this video on TikTok and it talks about gaslighting, and that's what Dad is doing to me. There are so many amazing, I know some people have an issue with their kids being on TikTok, and there are some concerning things, and I believe in monitoring online activity completely. However, there are some things on TikTok for our younger generation that might blow my mind. I wish we would have all had the education on toxic behavior. What is the name of the organization I just promoted this week after the Gabby's unfortunate videos that have circulated the world and captured our hearts? OneLove.org. Does anybody know what it is? There is a fantastic website about healthy love, healthy relationships. And I encourage you, look it up. You can Google it using just what I've said to try to find it. But we need to be instilling and teaching our kids in general what is healthy and what is not. And our whole world just got a lesson this week through the Gabby story on, and there's a lot of controversy about why it got such media attention. But the thing I keep going back to is in these situations when a young woman goes missing, we don't get to see the video like that to show exactly what abuse looks like. And, it has been so powerful for people if they're really open to watching that video and watching coercive control and how this narcissistic monster or sociopath or psychopath, whatever he is over there getting a feed off of this and chumming up with the police officers and fist bumping the police officers. And meanwhile, she's over there, questioning her own sanity, apologizing for her reaction to the abuse that she is under. And it just, I met her right there in that video because I have been her. And my guess is you've been hurt also. And so for so many of us, that was so triggering. But I know that it has educated so many people if they take the time to read what this is. And I know I completely sidetracked from the original question. Don't talk to your kids about their unhealthy parents specifically. You can validate what they say when they talk about it. But in general, we need to be teaching our kids. I just got the book, The Gift of Fear. Is that what it's called? I'm going to have both of my daughters read it. We need to, in general, be talking about these things because sometimes our kids' lives, as we've seen with Gabby, are absolutely dependent on them having that education. And what I keep telling people is, I don't care if your kids were raised in the most healthy environment with two loving parents who are still married 40 years later. I talk to those women who have grown up, and because they are so kind and compassionate and loving, they're the perfect target for that type of human or monster. He's not human. All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you so much. Hi, Katya. Good to see everybody. And yeah, my heart goes out to Gabby's family and to all who loved her and to all of us who have been so triggered by that footage this week. And all right. Hey, Tracy, Gift of Fear, great book. Absolutely. All right, everyone. Take care. Happy Friday.